Welcome back to the channel. So back on the vlogs, and this time it's Tuesday the 20th. It's the evening of Tuesday the 20th, so I'm just starting the new one on the day I finished the last one off, and I'm doing one of those jobs. Wife usually goes to bingo on a Tuesday night, so I've dropped her off to bingo, and I'm doing one of those jobs that I absolutely loathe, and that's cleaning out the spent fruit fly pot. So this isn't one. These are all casted up, maggoted up, waiting to hatch. So I have cleaned them. I do them in a specific way. So what I do is I get a bag, put my forceps in and spin the wood and everything round in there and tip it into a bag, and then literally wash them out with a bit of soap and water. Dry them, same with the sponges, dry them with the blue cloth, and then stack them up and reuse them. So I'm in the process of knocking up a mix, because once these guys do hatch, what I'll do is I'll make a mix up. So let's flip the camera and show you what I'm doing. So we're making a bit of a mess here, but I've literally just put in about 5 mil-ish, 20-25 gram tub, and then I'll use my RO water, and you have to sort of mix it a couple of times. So put my RO water in. I use my old rusty soil spade, and after you've mixed it you have to wait a bit, and obviously I can add more of the stuff in there as well, but this at the moment is quite runny, even though we've sort of mixed it up. But that a couple of minutes and that will set. See how it's set? And I might need to add a little bit more water to it, so it's gone really stiff look, and I don't want it to that extent. So tiny bit more water, and I want that sort of semi-runny consistency, so to the point where I can sort of tap it down, and all this does for the tiny bit more, all this does is the flies eat on it, they feed on it, the maggots feed on it and go down into it and feed on it, and then once they've fed, they'll come out of that and go up into the onto the walls and dry out. So what I'm looking for a semi, see how much it's sort of come up the pot, but I'm looking for a semi-consistent that I can actually tip upside down, but it will sort of self-level. And then once that's done, I get my Excelsior wood wool. So some people microwave this for a few minutes just to sort of dry it out, but I haven't found a need to. I did with my old supplier, but I'm literally just going to sort of stuff a load of that in. I'm probably going to cut this just to keep it a bit neater. And then I'm going to tuck that in. And then what I like to do is, because I've cut it, I want to make sure that there's no loose bits falling out, because if I've got loose bits falling out, there's a good chance that when you tap the flies out ready to prep them, you're going to lose wood as well, bits of wood, and it's a pain in the bum, because you don't really want that in your terrarium. So other than that, it's lid and a sponge. I do have some sponges, so I do clean these out. As I mentioned, I wash them out in one of my vlogs, so I do clean them and wash them out and reuse them, and every now and then I'll buy a new one. But that's now ready for when the other one becomes available, and you know, I've got a glut of flies that I need to sort of start a new colony with. Sorry, put that in shot. So other stuff we're doing is, we're in a mess. We're always in a blooming mess, but just having a bit of a tidy up ready for tomorrow's live. shrimping around. And then the Friday one, which I really enjoy, is the Friday Fun and Banter one with Rob and a guest. But enjoying both of them, to be fair. So just trying to get things sort of cleaned in here. Frogs are hungry. I know the frogs are hungry, and I haven't got any flies to feed them. So I need to keep an eye on her because she keeps going in the birthing pot. So I'm wondering if she's getting ready to breed at all. I might do some maintenance tomorrow. So I don't need to fill up yet, but I will need to fill up tomorrow. And I don't know if I'm going to do my Neos as well. Well, it looks like a lot of red algae. So I'm really not happy with this tank and the way this tank's going. So not brown algae, but I've got red algae. And I think those dark spots are blue-green algae. So what I'm going to do is clean off the brown, and I'll do siphoning at the same time. And then because this tank doesn't seem to be maturing how I want it to, so this was set up on the 21st of the 7th, and this tank was set up on the 30th of the 7th, so a week later. And look at the difference, really nice and clean, same soil, everything, we're starting to get green wall. I've got a bit of fuzz algae growing on the back of the filter. So what my plan was to suck out the bit of brown algae and the green algae, and I'm going to stir the soil up. Actually, I'm going to give the soil a bit of a stir. I'm getting some green algae forming on top of the filters, but my plan was to take one of those filters, because this has got copepods in, and squeeze it into this tank and see if we can do anything. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll strip this tank down and start from scratch. But just strange how this one I don't know why, it just doesn't seem to have sort of cycled as well as this one. And they're identical, same lighting, everything. Let's get on with that. Let's start by trying to get some of this brown algae out. And I have, it feels really warm as well, this tank, for some reason. And I'll go through and sort of clean the glass as well. Try and sort of scrape as much of that off as I can. But yeah, just really not happy with the way this tank's going. I have done 100% water change on it as well. So what I'll do is find a home for that. What I'll do, let's find a sponge. Get as much of this brown algae as I possibly can by literally just wiping across. Ooh, my arm's stuck. Just wiping across, taking it out, and then swilling it in the bucket of the water that I've changed. And then there are a couple of pieces here as well, and it's just literally just lifting it out. So just really not happy with how that's sort of gone at all. So that's part A done. Part B then, I'm going to stir the soil up a bit, just to sort of try and, I don't know, it's just strange, very, very strange how this tank's gone. Just hasn't gone the way I wanted it to go. And then what I'm going to do is take a sponge out of the one that is cycled, or cycling better, whichever, however you want to sort of describe that. And then just give that sponge a bit of a shake out in here. Not too much. Although it looks like that sponge needs cleaning anyway. So I will clean that sponge in the bucket of water that I've took out. Although that might not be a good idea, because if there is sort of something in that that's causing this brown algae, the last thing I want is spores in there. In fact, there is a difference. The sponge that I used in the tank that cycled better was cycled. So I've got an idea. I'm going to take a sponge out of here, swap that over into the other tank because I've probably contaminated now anyway. So now I've got one, I've got two double sponges in both. One's cycled and one isn't. And it could be loads of things. It could be flow, it could be absolutely anything. But let's crack on with that, see how that goes. I'm sort of half tempted. Wrong way around. Oh, wrong lid. I'm half tempted to block out the light on this for a couple of days just to see how that goes, but we'll keep an eye on it. So I wasn't sort of mad happy with how it was going, so I'm glad I've sort of done what I've done anyway. But let's put the lid on. And with this lid, I do have a yellow fly trap that I've used all over this top shelf, to be honest, and it's just in case any gnats get in there. But I might actually take that out and put it elsewhere for now, just in case that yellow light's causing a problem. Who knows? Just going to fill that up off the main bucket as I normally would, because I've got I did water changes yesterday, and the fact that I did water changes yesterday, they're all full anyway, so I'm not going to sort of be topping up other tanks and stuff. Well, however, clean the glass, because there's nothing worse than dripped water down the front of your tanks. I was just put the SL soil down here, so I've just had the delivery of SL soil and a few other bits. Dead shrimp powder, Millie 1 I've got back in stock, the SL nets with wooden handles as well, and a few other bits. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. I haven't got a microphone on, but the reason I haven't got a microphone on is because I'm having a little bit of a tidy up, and I'll probably sort of edit over the audio on quite a bit of this, just simply because I'm having a clean up, getting everything ready for tomorrow's live, and hopefully that works out this time better than it did last time. So just I'm going to do a bit of vacuuming, so I'm going to get the vacuum out, do a bit of vacuuming and over the audio. So I'm not sure if you guys can see me there, but let's get going. Just going to throw the vacuum round a bit for a few minutes. Oh dear, that's killing as usual, but I need to vacuum. So that's job 1 done. Okay, so job 2, clean the glass. I've got my trusty glass cleaner. I'm sort of just going to go through these in order, and some of them are worse than others, but they're not too bad. I'll put this one away as a spare. I've dropped it so many times, I've loosened all the connections in it and all sorts, so it's probably broken, but they weren't very expensive anyway. So let's put that away. Continue on. Give these guys a bit of moisture. I don't like it when it rains. Lightly mist these. So this is a slightly different bottle. Same with these. Although these like to run out. or run into the nest. She's fast. Give these a bit of a spray, but I want them to move out of the way because they will jump out. Spray them, I'll move them. So I'm hand spraying at the moment, but I'm going to buy an automated system to watch the feet. Humidity is usually pretty good in this one, to be fair. If anything, all I'm doing is filling up this little dish here. So if they want to get a bit of a soak, they can go and have a soak. And then I just go through the tanks really, just looking for any deceased shrimp, any dead shrimp. And these blues that I moved aren't doing well. Those probably need to come out into that tank. Everything else seems to be doing fine. I think I want to do a count on the reds, try and capture as many reds as I can. Also probably do a water change on the Neo tanks today. And just quickly worth mentioning, I have done something slightly different to this tank. I need to sort the soil out, but I'm trying to sort of combat that green algae. And what I've done is I've put some tape across the lid to try and cut the light down a little bit. So I also think that this is the day that we prep this tank ready to take the boa. I'm going to do a 95% water change on this. And then I think I'm going to hang the breeder box on, but I may just put the shrimp in. What I'm keen to try and do here is get as much of the fuzz algae off as possible, because I know it will grow back pretty quick. I'm probably not going to take out 100% of this because I want to try and keep as many of the copepods in there as I can. Probably about 80%, and see where we are with that. If you don't get the suck right, you get sort of a back siphon and it disturbs the soil, which I didn't really want to do. Another thing I was keen to do was on the tank that wasn't doing so good, the one that I've blocked out, knock the air pump up a bit, although looking at it the flow's okay. Glass bucket, so just an extension pipe that I wanted to put on here. Instead of filling up directly from the feed tube, I want to put a separate one on. One of the problems with these smaller tanks is that when you put this fitting on, the glass isn't wide enough. These don't screw in far enough, so it will hold to a degree, but it needs something else. And I've usually got knocking around somewhere something like this, which is just a piece of foam off a light box. I think this came off, just to give you something so it sort of clamps onto the glass better. Right, that's that done. Let's start that pump and get it filled up. Well, if you've stuck with us this long, thank you. Massively appreciated, means a lot to us. I know this week's video was a bit sort of repetitive and boring, so apologies for that. There are new things coming up, and I've already started shooting the next vlog, and I'm really excited with the first 5 minutes of edited footage that I've got from that. So that brings us to the end of this video. So if you're new here and you're not a subscriber, please consider A, hitting the thumbs up, B, hitting the subscribe and the notification bell, because it helps us to grow, means a massive amount to us, and pushes us sort of closer to being able to do things that we want to do, and sort of push the room to as much potential as we can get that. So with that said, I have been somewhere today. I've spoken to somebody, or wanted to speak to somebody. The person I wanted to speak to wasn't there, but it looks quite positive, something in the pipeline. But while I was there, I heard a sound. I'm just going to say I heard a sound and asked the girl that worked there, is that X? And she says, oh yeah. I says, oh, do you sell that? And she says, no. She says, that's just a display. But a guy that comes in here a couple of times a week and helps out has got his own place at another location. So I'm definitely going to go up and see that person. It sort of ties into something that I want to do in the room. So you've heard me talk about the corner, so it's up that way, and I do have plans for that corner, and haven't fully made my mind up yet. There's a couple of things in the pipeline that I would love to do, but we'll have to see how that goes. But thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. A bit boring. I'll try and make the next one a bit more exciting, because we are doing stuff. There are things happening. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye bye.